Hi everyone, my name's Trent. I'm from Australia, and I've been asked quite a lot lately of how I do the rivets on my chainmail and how I put buckles on it to prevent ripping your hair out when you put it on over your head, so you can just chuck it on like a jacket. Well, I'm going to start off by showing you what my riveted chainmail looks like with the buckles on it, and explain why it's better to do it on riveted than butted chainmail. This right here is my riveted chainmail. It's 12 gauge steel, and pretty much they're the buckles that are on it. How they're done is pretty much you put a leather backing on the back, put the rivets through, round off the tips after taking off all the excess copper, because these rivets are actually copper rivets. It's better to do it with riveted chainmail than it is to butted, because as you can see with all the rivets through it, unless you're really trying hard, you can't, there's no way they can be pulled out or anything. There's no way they can be pretty much undone. Once they're in, unless you really want them out to switch them out for new buckles. As opposed to my butted chainmail over here. This, once again, is another butted chainmail shirt, just like my other. And yeah, pretty much, for those who don't know the difference, as you just saw, riveted chainmail has the rivets through it to hold the actual links together. Butted chainmail is, as you can see here, they're not flattened, they're not riveted, they're just rings that have a split in them that are pushed together. So it gives it more room to fall apart. They're easier to come apart than others. Which is why if I stuck those buckles on the butted chainmail over there, it's just going to fall apart. So that's the reason why you'd want to put any modifications from buckles, anything, onto the riveted chainmail, then the butted chainmail. Now I'm here in the shed with all my gear that I've got around here. Anvils, and pretty much all you need. But as you can see, I do have a spare piece of 12 gauge steel riveted chainmail. I'm going to show you a demonstration on how you can actually put these all together. The leather, the rivets, all that. Pretty much start off with any random piece of leather. This is 2mm thick buffalo hide. Pretty much what you want to do is, I'll start off with one section. Cut out a section big enough so you can get your hole punch. And pretty much just go through. And put your hole through it. I'll do the other one and I'll come back to you. Okay, now as you can see on my workbench, there's my bowl of copper rivets. That's how they start off. Pretty much what you want to do is, you want to measure how much thickness out of these you're going to need between the leather, the chainmail, and then the second piece of leather, and then the O-ring on top. As you can see, I just put it all together, minus the O-ring. So what you want to do is, you want to sandwich up the leather, the chainmail, then the second piece of leather. You go in here and you get your O-ring. One of the other tools you'll need is a setter. This is pretty much it. You've got your hole that you use to place on. And then what you do, once that's on, you hit it with a hammer and it presses the O-ring down. Like that. That's how it should look after you've done it. No. So pretty much that's how it should look when you've done it. Now, you've just got to take the estimation and shear off that leftover bit of copper. So first, what you want to do is, you want to measure it and take off pretty much about, so you got that much left. Pretty much so you got that much left. Enough to make a little bump on top. And I'll explain why in a second. Now, as you can see, I've sheared off the top and left enough on there. Now, I'm going to get the setter. I'm going to use the dome section to actually round off the top. Now, as you can see, I've rounded off the top. Pretty much what that does is, it flattens it out like a mushroom. Puts a little bump in the top so that the O-ring has no way of coming off. And from there, pretty much that's how you set your copper rivets. What side you want to have showing and what side you don't is up to you. And yeah, that's pretty much how I do my chainmail. Thanks.